What is Google Classroom? Google Classroom is an easy-to-use tool that helps teachers manage digital classwork, homework, and coursework. With Classroom, teachers can create classes, hand out work, grade and send feedback, and see everything in one place. Teachers and students can sign in from any computer or mobile device to access class assignments, course materials, and feedback. It's not somewhere to store work. Google Drive does this. It's an app to receive and hand in work. When you go to the app launch, you'll see the Google Classroom app that you can click on to load. You can also access Google Classroom via a Chromebook or a mobile device if the app's installed. When Google Classroom loads, it will look a little bit like this. In the top left-hand corner, you'll see the three lines. This will bring up the menu for Google Classroom. The menu looks a little bit like this. At the top of the screen, there's the home button to return back to the classes. You've also got a calendar view of all the assignments that are due. There's a to-do list to show all the assignments that you've got left to complete. And then there's a list of all the classrooms that you're part of. Here's some examples of some classrooms. This is an example of a class I'm already part of. I've either previously accepted to join this class or I've added my class code. Here's a class that I've recently been added to. You can see that by the join button in the bottom right-hand corner. If I click this button, I'll become part of this class. Classrooms aren't just for lessons though. This is an example of how a classroom might be used as part of a club. To join a classroom, there are two different ways. Either you may have been invited by your teacher and you'll need to click the join button in the bottom left-hand corner. The other way of joining a classroom is by pressing the plus button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. You can then enter a class code that you'll be given by your teacher to join that class. Let's go through a classroom in a little bit more detail. At the top of the screen, there's a class name. You've got your teacher, and then you've got any work that's coming up. You can see for this example, I've got some work that's due on Monday. At the bottom of the screen, there's a link to all of the work that you've done in this class, and a link to the Classroom Drive folder, which is where you store all of your work. If you click on the banner at the top of the screen, this will take you to the classroom. When we first go into a classroom, we go into something called the stream. This gives you an overview as to what's going on in this class, what classwork's being set, and maybe posts from teachers with little bits of information. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll also see any upcoming work that's due in. If you click on the Classwork tab at the top of the page, you'll be taken to an area where you can see materials and assignments that you've been set for that classroom. Classwork is broken down into topics, so you can see here I've got 2 topics. And then work is assigned underneath these topics. This is an example of some material that's been set. These 2 are examples of assignments that have been set. You can tell the difference by the icons on the left-hand side. Assignments require you to submit and return work. Materials is just for you to be able to view. Over on the right-hand side, you can see that this assignment is due in on a certain date. Assignments may be set a due in date. We're now going to look at how you can submit work using Google Classroom. If you click on the assignment, it will open up in a little bit more detail. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see when the work is due, and you'll see a little description of what you need to do. There may be some work attached or a worksheet that you need to fill in, but this isn't always the case. At the bottom of the screen, it says View Assignment. If you click on this button, you can go in and see the assignment in even more detail. This is the assignment screen. The assignment screen tells you a few different things. At the top, it tells you the details about the work that you need to do. It's got the due date, the title of the work, a description, and if it's worth any points or marks. Below this, you've got something called class comments. If this is enabled by the teacher, this will allow you to add a comment that the whole class can see. It's great for adding a question or something that you might be stuck on that maybe others can help you out with. On the right-hand side, you'll see any of the work that you've got to do, or this is where you'll attach work to hand in before you hand it back to the teacher. And below this, there's something called private comments, which allows you to add a comment to your teacher privately without giving it to the rest of the class. If we look at the work section of an assignment, there's a few different things you can do to hand in work. Your teacher may have set you a worksheet that you need to fill in, for example, like this. If you click on that worksheet, it will open up and it will give you a template to fill in. The alternative is that you can add or create your own work. If you click on this icon, it opens up a menu that looks a little bit like the one on the right-hand side. At the top of the screen, you can add in files from your Google Drive, maybe a link from the internet, or a file on your computer. Alternatively, you can create a new document, slides, sheets, or drawing that will attach itself straight away to your assignment. There are three main ways that you'll hand in work to your teacher using a Google Classroom assignment. The first way is filling out a worksheet or a work booklet the teacher has attached directly onto your work. All you'll need to do is click and open this, and you can edit it and then hand it straight back in. The second way is attaching something from your Google Drive that you might have already created. And the third way is uploading a file from your computer. We're going to review these three in three separate short videos. In this video, we're going to look at how to complete a worksheet or a Google Doc or Google Slides or something that your teacher has set already for you. If you click on the assignment, either through the stream or by going to your classwork, you'll be able to open up the assignment and you'll see that there's a file attached this time. If you view the assignment, you'll be able to see this in the top right-hand corner, and it should be attached there for you to complete. We're going to click on this file either by clicking here or by clicking on it in the last window, and it will open up and it will look something like this. Your teacher will have set you something to do within the attachment. So this one asked me to answer a question, and then you can hit the turn in button in the top right-hand corner, or you can close this down and you can go back to your Google Classroom and hit the hand in button here on the right-hand side instead. So I'm going to click hand in on that. You can check to see whether your work's been handed in by once you've submitted it, you can click on it again and you can just double check that you've handed it in. There you go, you can see it. You won't be able to edit it anymore because you've handed in the work. So that will show that you've handed it in correctly as well. In this video, we're going to look at how to hand in some work from our Google Drive. If you go and find the assignment either through the stream if it's there or through classwork and open up whatever the task is that you've got to complete. Here's my assignment. I'm going to view the assignment. You'll notice on the right hand side there's nothing added to this yet, and there's a task in the middle, so I'm going to click on the little add button over here, and this time I'm going to select from my Google Drive. When you click on Google Drive, it opens up a bit like this, and it will show you some examples of some of the work that you've done or that you've most recently been working on, or you can go to my Google Drive and you can search for things through your folders that way. But I'm going to upload my poster, which is here, and I'm going to add that to my Google Classroom. Once you click the add button, it will load over in the top right hand corner and attach that into your work, and then you can click the hand in button to hand it back to your teacher. I'm going to show you how to hand in some work from your own computer and upload it to a Google Classroom assignment. So if you click on the assignment that you've been set, either by going through the stream if it's there or through your classwork, you can find the assignment that you need to hand in the work on. If you open this up, it will show you something that looks a bit like this. There might not be anything attached, there might be no work there. You need to go into View Assignment, and you can see there's your task, and actually there's nothing attached over here at the moment. If you click on the Add or Create button, you have a couple of options. You can add from your Google Drive or from a file, or you can create some from new, but this time we're going to create one from a file. So we're going to click on the file, and then we're going to select files from our device. Then you can go into your documents or your desktop or your pictures. My poster is here, and I'm going to upload this to my assignment by clicking the upload button. This will upload it, and then once it's uploaded, it will appear in the top right hand corner, and you can click the hand in button, and then that's handed back to your teacher. Easy. There is a fourth way you may submit your work, and that's using your smartphone, either an iPhone or maybe an Android phone. Your smartphone will allow you to install different apps, and you can install the Google Drive and Google Classroom app to be able to upload work directly from your phone or from your phone's camera. Once you've installed the Google Classroom app from your App Store, you can click on it and it should load. As long as you're signed into Google Drive or the Google Drive app, it will automatically log you into your student account. Otherwise, you'll just need to enter your school email address and password. Now I'm logged into my Google Class app. You can see I've got a list of my classes. I've only got one there, and I've got test class. In my test class, I've got some assignments. You can see I've got a homework upload assignment. I'm going to click on the homework upload assignment and then click on the add attachment button to start adding on my homework to this assignment. You can see there's loads of different options in here, but I'm going to use the camera to take a picture of my work. I'm going to take a picture using the camera, and I will use that photo. Once you click on use photo, it will then upload your photo to your assignment, like so. Once it's finished uploading, you'll then need to hit the turn in blue button and confirm turning in your work, and this will then submit your work to your teacher. You'll get a nice big tick icon and it will show as done in the home screen. You can click on your work as well to double check to see it,
and it will load up the photo that you've taken, and that's how you submit your work on Google Classroom using your smartphone.
Once you've handed in your work, your teacher may mark it and give you feedback. You'll see your work is marked by the word marked on the right-hand side of an assignment. View the assignment in more detail, and you'll see that the score has changed in the top right-hand corner, and you may have had a private comment added to your work by your teacher. If you click on the work, you may find that within the work itself, comments have also been directly added. If you make changes to your work, you can then hit the resubmit button to hand it back to your teacher. To access my Google Classes, I'm going to click on the 9 dots in the top right-hand corner when I'm on Google and go to Google Classroom. Google Classroom will then open up and it will show all the different classes that you've either been invited to or that you're a part of. So this is showing all of my classrooms. You can see at the top of a classroom, it gives the classroom name. It tells you the name of the teacher as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be classes. It could be clubs as well that you might be invited to take part in or you might join. You can see on this classroom over here, there's actually a link underneath and it talks about the work that is due in as well. So there's a little bit more detail in this classroom because there's an activity you need to do by a certain date. This class here has a join button because I haven't joined this one yet. This might be something my teacher's invited me to. So I'm going to click on that join button and then that will join me onto that classroom. Another way to join a classroom is if your teacher gives you a class code. So if you click on the join class plus button up in the top right hand corner, you can type in a class code that your teacher will have given you, and then you can hit the join button and it will then join you to that class. Up in the top left hand corner, there are 3 lines. This takes you to your Google Classroom menu. You have the classes icon at the top that takes you back to the home page. You've got a calendar view of all of the work that's due and when it's due to be handed in. You've got a to-do list of all the different tasks you've got to do, and you've got the list of different classes that you're part of if you need quick access to those. Also, just a quick tip, under settings, that's where you can control whether you receive email notifications or not. So if you're getting loads and loads of email notifications, you can choose which emails you get from which classes and what you get emails for. So now let's look at a class in a little bit more detail. So here I've got my class name. If I click on this, it will take me through to my classroom. I've got my teacher, like I've said, and I've got my work that I've got to do. I can also click here to view my work for this classroom in particular, or click this button to open up my work in Google Drive. But the main way of accessing the work in a classroom is by clicking on the top and clicking on the link to the classroom. When your classroom opens, it will open on the stream and it will show you an overview as to what's going on in this classroom. So it will show you all the work that's being set under classwork, and it might have messages from your teacher. Over on the left-hand side, it will show you the work that you've got due coming up, and you can go and view that individually. If you click on classwork at the top, this will take you into the classwork view, and this will show you all the work that you've got to do under your different topics. These are your topic headers, and these are the pieces of work or materials that sit underneath each of these different areas. This one doesn't have a topic, so there might be a few at the top that don't. If I give you an example under this one, under algebra, there's a worksheet. If I click on this link, it will show me the worksheet I've got to complete and the work that I've got to do. This one's actually been marked, and we'll come back to looking at marked work in a minute. This one at the top hasn't been completed yet. It's been assigned, so I might click on this link and go into this worksheet to complete this worksheet. There's another example here of some material. This doesn't require anything being handed in. It's just something that you can view and you can look through. You can notice the difference between the different icons. These are assignments, these are materials. At the top of the screen, there's also a People tab. If you click on that, it will show you the teachers in your classroom and all of your classmates. If you want to email somebody individually, you can click on the link on the right-hand side and it will pop up a Gmail compose window where you can then start writing a message. So that's a nice quick tip for sending an email to people within your class. So here's an example of work that's been marked in Google Classroom. If I view this assignment by clicking on the bottom of the screen, I can see that now up in the top right, it says a score. So it might give me a score of what I've achieved on this piece of work. Over on the right-hand side as well, you'll see that it says a private comment, and this might be a comment that your teacher's given you about your work. Your teacher may also leave you direct comments on your work. So if you open the work back up, you'll see down the right-hand side, potentially of a doc or a sheets or a slides, there might be something in here that gives you a comment or a suggestion that you might want to do in your work, or just a piece of feedback within your work itself. If I go back to the main tab now, once you've done some changes, if you want to make some changes, you can then hit the resubmit button, and this will then return the work back to your teacher again and say that you've then redone the work or made the changes and suggestions that they've asked you to do.